Hello all, welcome back to my channel. Here is Yashoda and this is the chapter 2 of SQL Commands which we started the MySQL series. If you haven't watched the chapter 1 about the data, what is the DBMS, what all the types of data, RDBMS, DBMS, database, SQL. So please keep it watch and come with my this second video of SQL Command. Here we will interact with the overall SQL commands which are used to define the SQL queries. These are the predefined instructions that let you communicate directly with the relational database systems, create databases and tables, insert, update and delete the records, retrieve the specific data on demand, manage users and control the transaction. Think of SQL commands like a recipe. Each instruction tells the database exactly what to do step by step. Why SQL commands are matters? Because it maintains the data management, data security, data integrity, business intelligence, career essentials, and industry, where you can efficiently organize, maintain large data sets, ensure accuracy and consistency of information over time, require the skills for the data professionals and software developments, universally used across all major database systems worldwide. What all the chapter overview we have, we will categorize the SQL commands in five powerful groups. We have DDL, which is the data definition language, DML for the data manipulation language, DQL for the data query language, DCL for the data control language, and TCL for the data transactional control language. The data definition language build and shape the data, which the DDL command define and modify the structure of database object, not the data inside them. It can auto commit. Changes are immediately permanent. No rollback is possible. Cannot be undone. The most database systems and the scopes are like effect schemas and structure, not for the rows. Always back up your data before running this DTL commands. They cannot be reversed. So we have first called create. Using this create command, you can build the new objects like a table and databases like views, triggers, store procedures, and so on. The alter command is used to modify the existing structure of data. Means we have to modify something about the table or database. You can use the alter command. For the drop, you can delete the object permanently. For the truncate, just empty the table, whatever you want to empty it. And the rename is used to rename the particular object. You can rename the column names. You can rename the table name using the rename command. So you can have the comparison between this overall DDL commands. The purpose of the create command, create new object. Scope of the is database, tables, views, and indexes, and we cannot roll back it. And obviously, the auto committed is happen automatically. The alter modifies the structured, add and remove the columns, change the data types, cannot be rolled back, and the auto commit is happens. Or drop deletes entire object, remove structure and data, cannot roll back, and the truncate removes all rows, empties table, keep structure, cannot be rolled back, and the auto committed happens. And for the rename, changes the object name, table, column, and objects cannot be rolled back, and the auto committed is happens. So, can we roll back the DDL commands? The short answer is no. In most databases, we cannot roll back the commands. For the MySQL, you cannot roll back the DDL commands. The DDL are obviously making a changes permanently. Why? The DDL modifies the database structure, not the data. Structure changes are fundamental to the database. Most databases treat DDL as auto commit for the safely. In this expectations you can have, some databases support the DDL rollback in transactions like Oracle, PostgreSQL, SQL Server with a caution, and also requires the explicit transaction controls. For the best practices, you can always back up before the execute DDL commands. Test the DDL in development environment first, and if the DDL fails, then restore from the backup and document all DDL changes. The recovery you can maintain using the restore from the backup, reapply the DDL carefully, and test thoroughly before the production. The DML commands is used to manipulate the data stored inside the table. So we have the insert, update, and delete. The insert command adds new rows, can be rolled back before the commit, and it increases row count. The structure is unchanged and the speeds depends on the constraints. If you're using the constraints, is based on this insert command, you can do it. We have the update, which is modify the existing rows, can be rolled back before the commit, and obviously maintain some count of rows. It will increase or decrease the count of rows. And so the structure is always the unchanged, where this is depend on the where clause. The delete command is remove the selected rows, can be rolled back before the commit, and it decrease the in row count if you are using the delete command. It can be unchanged and slower than the truncate. So you have the key benefits. All DML operations can be rolled back before the commit. This is the crucial for the data safety. The third one we have the TCL, the transaction control language. The transaction control language are used to manage database transaction and maintain the data consistency. So, a sequence of SQL operation treated as a single unit of work, and it has the asset property means automaticity, consistency, isolation, and durability. It will be maintain the data integrity, control transaction flows, support rollback capacities, ensure consistency across the operations, and prevent the partial updates. So we have the command called commit, rollback, save point, and save transaction. The commit can permanently save the changes, rollback undoes the changes, save point create the checkpoints, and the save transaction configure the isolation level. In the real world analogy, you can have the like a bank transformation. Either both account update and neither does. So the commit purpose is save all changes. Effect are always the permanent and we cannot revise it. The scope is like entire transaction it will be committing. For the rollback, it can be the undoes all changes. The restore previous states means only before commit if you are doing something changes you can get the rollback, and it can be happen into the entire transaction. The save point is purpose like create the checkpoints, allows partial rollback yes to save point, and partial transactions are happen into the save point. We have the set transaction, which is a configure isolation, controls the concurrency. Revisable can be the database specifically, and the transaction properties are happen. So the key principle of TCL assure the asset property and like automaticity, consistency, isolation, and durability. The DCL, Data Control Language, which is used to control user permissions and security in databases. So user managed and access the control of the particular database objects. Database security enforcement have like privileges management and role-based access the control audit trail for the security. The command DCL are like a grant and revoke. The grant provides the permission to user and revoke permissions for the user. Just revoke is remove the permission from the users. The issue that only the authorized user can access this sensitive data like customer information and financial reports. So fourth we have DQL, Data Query Language, which is called a DQL command are used to retrieve data from one or more tables. So it is the key features of a DQL are fetch the information from databases, support filtering with where, support sorting with order by, support grouping with a group by, support joining with the multiple tables, and read only does not modify the data. So we have the select command most frequently used in SQL commands in the real world. You can use the select command using the select star from. Whatever you want to retrieve from the databases, you can use with the select. The select with distinct is define the retrieve unique and distinct values from a column. Select distinct, whatever the column name from table. This is the one of the best example for the getting a distinct cities from the students, where the finding all unique categories from these cities. So you can also use the limit clause to retrieve or restrict the number of rows written by a query. If you want to fetch only the first 10 records, then you can use the limit for the select star from student, a limit 10, offset 20. Means from this it will getting the result like 21 to 30. Means it will get the first limited 10 records to as a output. Explain how limit improves the query performance and reduce the servers. So the commonly we make a mistakes like using the limit without order by we can be not getting a impactful result. After that, we have the order by clause. Using this order by clause, we can sort the query result ascending or descending. Using the ASC, we are just sorting the data into the ascending order. In the DSC, we are sorting the data into the descending order. The ascending is like A to Z or 019, and it may be the default one. And the descending order, you can have the Z to A and 9 to 0. In the real-world use cases, the sorting customer list alphabetically, sales reports by the dates, or product by the price. You can have the multiple column sorting as well. You can use the multiple sorting and with the age or with the name column with the ascending and descending too. You can have the explain that you can explain the interviewer that performance impact and order by on the last data sets. And common mistakes like we just write to forget the ASC and DESC. These are the common mistakes we are making into the writing the SQL queries. After we have the where clause. So basically the where clause is used to filter the data around the specific condition. You can made using the equal to, not equal to, or greater than, less than, or you can use the greater than, equal to, greater than, less than, equal to. This kind of filtering you can use using the where clause. We can have the logical operator called and, or, in, between, like. You can also use these operators in the where clause. So the common mistakes we are making like using the double equal instead of equal is uses the single equal for the comparison. And the interview tip like explain how where improves query performance by reducing the data scan. So this is the common commands we are using into the SQL. So we can have the SQL classification overall the command about around the overall the commands. So the DDL is the data definition language. We can have the create, alter, drop, truncate, rename, and we cannot have the rollback from this DDL commands define and modify the database structures. The DML commands are the data manipulation language, which is used to insert, update, and delete the data. We can manipulate data within the table and can be rolled back before the commit. After that, the auto commit is not happen into the DML commands. The DQL is a data query language which is used around the select clause. It will be helpful to retrieving the data and query the data using the select clause. And the rollback is not available into it. And the auto committed it's not happen into it. The DCL it means data control language, grant, revoke. These are the DCL language which is used to control the user permissions and security. The databases are specific when we have the multiple kind of databases. So it's based on the databases, which databases you are using for the TCL commands. And the auto commit always be the happen with the DCL commands. The TCL means what? Transaction control language. Commit, rollback, save point, set transaction. These are the TCL commands which is managed to use the transaction and ensure the consistency. And also depends on the rollback, it depends on the command and the auto commit are not happening to it. The common interview questions are asked by the interviewers like difference between the delete and truncate, rollback, can we roll back the DDL commands, explain the asset property and the TCL rule, when you would need to use a save point, what is the difference between drop and delete, how do you ensure data security using the DCL commands. So you can have the differentiation between the delete and versus truncate. Like the delete can the data manipulation language can be rolled back before the commit. It is a slower bit than the overall row count. Does not reset the auto increment and delete a specific rows on the condition. But the truncate is the DDL command which cannot be rolled back faster than the delete command and reset auto increment to the set values, and it will be the empty entire table quickly. The key terminologies of the references are database objects are a logical structure within a database, table, view, indexes, schemas, and store procedures. The schemas are the logical blueprint or organization of database objects and their relationships. The transactions are sequence of SQL operations treated as a single logic of unit work, and the asset properties like automaticity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Privileges are the permission granted to the user for the specific operations on database object. The constraints are the rule applied to the column ensure that data validity and integrity. The rollback undo the operations that resolve a database to previous states, and the commit is permanently save the operations that make the changes irrelevant. Also, we have the save point, name checkpoint within a transaction for the partial rollback, and the isolation level you can configuration that the control how concurrent transaction interact. So this is the chapter summary we can consider. DDL are the create, alter, drop, truncate command. DML are the data manipulation language. DQL are the data query language. DCL are the data control language, and the TCL are the transaction control language. So in this next video, we will see the advanced select queries around the overall the joins as well as the group bys, as well as we will create our first table database, and we will use the insert command. We will use the update, delete, overall the data manipulation, data transaction, and DDL DML commands in the next video. Okay, so you can have the master with the DDL, DML, DQL, DCL, and TCL, and also review the key concepts of regularly practice with the real databases. Better try the projects, whatever you want to learning from. We will like see it, and we have the next verse like complete the hands-on exercise, take the quiz and reviews, and so on. And until, thank you so much. We will meet in the next session.